Julian, nice to see you, man. First one in the door. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Revisited series, episode 10, 2018's album, Born by the Radio. And, right now I think it's just Julian and I. That might mean that Jen G is there as well, alphabetically my favorite Jen in the whole wide world. But yes, we are doing the not Lonesome Stretch of Highway, Born by the Radio. The album was recorded in the fall of, started in October of 2017, and Ernie and Ben flew out here to Edmonton, and we recorded the bed tracks in 3 or 4 days, I guess, something like that, at Riverdale Recorders here in downtown Edmonton with Scott Franchuk, who co-produced the album with me. And so they flew out. We recorded the drums and the bass guitar, and I guess pretty much just the bed tracks. The drums, bass guitar, and some scratch vocals and scratch acoustic guitar tracks in a weekend in early to mid-October 2017. And then Scotty and I spent the next, I would think the better part of 6 months working on the record. And we didn't work on it non-stop for 6 months, but we worked on it here and there, now and again, once in a while. Pick a cliche and go with it. That's about how often we worked on it. Sometimes we'd get in for 3 or 4 days. Scotty and I both kind of had the same schedule, which was drop the kids. Had to drop Ruby off at school at 9 in the morning, go to the studio. Scotty had to do the same thing. He dropped his kids off at school 9 in the morning. We'd meet at the studio around 9:30, record till 2 o'clock, and then go about our way. It was a very relaxing way to record. And so, Scotty and I spent the next, I think we were all done recording by end of January, early February of 2019. And then, again, we started with the mixing and spent, he had a bunch of other projects going on as well. We would get in for a day every now and then, once a week, twice a week type thing. Record was all done, sent off to mastering in Nashville by end of April, and the album was released at the end of June. And we had the big album release party in Wakefield, Quebec on Canada Day weekend. 2018, we did 2 nights there, and we had ourselves a time. It was a very, very stiflingly hot Canada Day weekend. Maybe you recall it. It was brutally hot, and we had a great time playing in Wakefield for those 2 nights. And that would have been with Ernie and Ben, Ryan and Jeff, and myself. And I guess I should say that the guys and Ernie and Ben and I recorded the bed tracks, and then we sent, after I did my vocals and my acoustic guitar tracks, we sent them off, sent the tracks to Jeff so he could play some piano on it, and Ryan so he could play pedal steel and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if I have anything more to sort of say about that, about the record as far as the recording of it. We had a lot of fun. I do know that. Scotty and I had a lot of laughs. And I knew by the time I had finished recording that album that Scotty and I were going to work together again. And so, a year and a half later, we found ourselves back in his studio in downtown Edmonton, recording the Lonesome Stretch of Highway album with Merrick and all the guys. So it was a good time. The first song on this record was written, there's a song called My Old Friend. And it was written it was inspired by. Remember last week I was talking about my song "Coming Home Again" when I sang this, where I sing "Ring the bell, Jimmy, would you please? As long as you're pulling pints, pull one from me." Well, Jimmy, in that song, I picked that name because the song, back to "Coming Home Again," but the song really had this Pogues feel, and I was introduced to the Pogues by a guy named Jim Dory up in Fort McMurray, Jimmy. So he would be the Jimmy, and he introduced me to the Pogues music. He introduced me to their album Rum, Sodomy, and the Lash. And there's a song on there called Sally McLennan, and the character in the song is a guy named Jimmy as well. And so Jim Dory inspired, or it was a tip of the hat to Jim Dory in my song "Coming Home Again." Then on the next album, in July of 2015, I was talking to Jim on the phone 2 or 3 years before that, in like 2012, 2013, something like that. He had had a battle with cancer, and it looked like he had it barked up a tree. It looked like he had run it out of town, and he did for a couple of years. And then in July of 2015, I was talking to him on the phone, and we were just we're just catching up, having a laugh. And then out of the blue, I just sort of said, "So how you been, man? How you feeling?" And he said, "You know what? I've been meaning to tell you. Things have taken a turn. Things could get ugly really quick, and we should schedule a visit." And I knew exactly what he meant. So that was the middle of July. By the end of July, I was in New Glasgow, Nova Scotia, staying at Jim's place, and at Jim and Jeannie's place there in New Glasgow. And we booked a little pub. We did a little pub gig together and had a lot of laughs. And the next morning, I left to get, I can't remember. I think I drove up from New York, I think I flew to Jen's dad's place. That's exactly what I did. I flew to Jen's dad's place, borrowed one of his cars, and then drove up to Nova Scotia. And so anyway, the night after the pub gig, I got in my car, and I was driving back to Jen's dad's place in Connecticut. And that was the last time I saw Jim. But when we had that phone call 2 weeks earlier, and he said we should probably schedule a visit. After I hung up, I picked up the guitar and I just started strumming. You came back again on a wayward wind from out Alberta way, and I was off and running. And the song was written really quick. I wrote the song probably. I wish I'd played it for him actually, because I could have played it for him. It was pretty much ready to go by the time I got to New Glasgow. And so the song, and again, so Jim was the original inspiration behind that song. And so then I started thinking, okay, so the lyric goes, "You came back again on a wayward wind from out Alberta way." And I'd like to say, "I never thought I'd see you again, my old friend." And so for the longest time, I was thinking that this was a guy who had left Alberta and he was going back to the Maritimes to visit some friends, and it was just nice to see him again. And and so when I first wrote it, that was about as deep as it got. It was just this guy going back home to see all his pals. And then I went back and started thinking, what happens if the guy is actually going back for a funeral? And so I went back and I went over all the lyrics again, and I didn't change them drastically, but I changed them just enough so that you could hear it both ways. One is just a guy going back to see all his pals, or two is a guy going back for a funeral. And so I thought that was, I enjoyed that approach. And then I started thinking, what happens if the guy in the song isn't the guy from driving in from Alberta? What happens if he's the guy in the box, and his friend came back again on a wayward wind from out Alberta way? Never thought I'd see you again, my old friend. That's kind of And so I went back and visited the song again and wrote and negotiated and nudged the lyrics so that you could hear it one of three ways. And without further ado, I will play it. Came back again on a wayward wind from out Alberta way. I never thought I'd see you again, my old friend. I never will forget how we'd smoke cigarettes out behind the school. I wish I never knew now what I never knew then, my old friend, my old friend. You tell me, where did the years go, my old friend? Like dry tears of melted snow, it sure is good to see you again, my old friend. Some say we were too young. Well, I guess for some, yeah, we might have been. How were we to know just how it all would end, my old friend, my old friend? So much time has come and gone, my old friend, like scattered leaves upon a lawn. It sure is good to see you again, my old friend. It sure is good to see you again, my old friend. Now time goes by so fast, you turn around, man, and it's past, and it won't be back again. We're using phrases like back in the day and way back when, my old friend, my old friend. As you roll west across the plains, my old friend, yeah, the rest of us remain here in Kings County until you come home again, my old friend. But it sure is good to see you again, my old friend, my old friend, my old friend. Yeah, man, my old friend. First song on the 2018 album, Born by the Radio. Everything okay out there in TV land? How's it sounding? Is everything all right? No hissing as of yet? Okay, let's hope not. Okay. The next song, back in 2000, the guys and I were doing residency gigs all along the eastern seaboard of the United States. So it would be like, every Monday night we were in Boston. Every Tuesday night we were in Philadelphia. Every Wednesday night, Woodstock. Every Thursday night, New York City. Every Friday night, Asbury Park. Every Saturday night, where was the other one? maybe Baltimore. I think it might have been Baltimore. Anyway, so, and we were doing a 6-week residency. So, so every Monday for 6 weeks, there we were in Boston. Every Tuesday, there we were in Philly. Every Wednesday, there we were in Woodstock. And so, and it was cool. And we had played in Woodstock a couple of times before at this place called the Joyous Lake. We called it the Joyless Wake, but I digress. But anyway, the place was called the Joyous Lake. Cool club, really cool club. The dressing room had some like original handwritten lyrics from Bob Dylan, like behind 6 inches of plexiglass, but really cool. And for the life of me, I can't remember what song it was. How about that? Anyway, so when we wanted to we were looking to do this residency, we called the club, we called the Joyous Lake and said, hey, we're looking to do this residency in April, late March, early April, and wondering if we could get into the venue. And they said, well, we have, Levon Helm plays here every Wednesday night and has for, since dirt. And, but he's going on the road for 5 weeks. So if you guys want those 5 weeks, you can have that. But the 6th week, he'll be back in town and he'll be playing his gig. So if you guys want to open the show for him, let's do it. I said, okay, we booked the show. So the first 5 weeks, we played in Woodstock. We did the residency, and you know what? And every week you would play. Like the first week, there might have been 10 people there, and then the next week would have been 20, then 30, and it just kept building like that. And it was a really neat case study. But anyway, so in Woodstock, it slowly built into something, but nothing crazy. On the 6th week, though, it was pretty crazy because Levon was back in the house. And so we were doing our little show, and I looked at the back of the room above the sound man. There was like a little balcony where the light man would be with his follow spot. And that's where the dressing room was as well. And I looked up, and as I'm singing one of our songs, I look out, and I look up in the balcony, and I can see this silhouette. And he's just kind of rocking back and forth. And we had watched The Last Waltz 1,000 times, and I recognized that silhouette. I recognized the way he was moving to the beat. It was fucking Levon, man. And so that was pretty cool. We did the gig, met Levon. He couldn't have been cooler. And then at the end of the night, we were packing up the van, and I was in the van, like in the back of the van, loading the gear, and the guys were all wheeling out amplifiers and stuff. And as that's happening, Levon comes walking out with one of the guys in his band, and he comes up to us and he comes up to the van. He goes, "Boys, that was a real nice show, boys. Real nice." He kind of sounded like Bill Clinton because I guess maybe they're both from Arkansas. They had that same accent, but he's like, "Real nice show, guys. Really nice meeting you. Nice doing the show with you. And he gives us this bag of weed, and he's like, "Don't smoke it all tonight. It'll fuck you up." I said, "Okay, duly noted." So he gave us that bag of weed, and then he jumped in his car, and he's driving through the parking lot, and Dave and I are standing there like, "Can you believe that? We're gonna have to get rid of this weed before we cross the border because we're gonna be in big trouble." But anyway. So, and then as he's driving through the parking lot, he stops and he comes back and he says, "Actually, the fellas and I are having a little get together out at my ranch. Why don't you guys pack up? If you got nowhere to go tonight, why don't you pack up and come on out and hang out with us?" And we couldn't even believe that. So the next thing I know, we packed up the van and in a breakneck pace, and we hauled ass. We followed. They waited for us. And we followed them out to Levon's place, and we walked there, and it's where that Levon's midnight ramble is happening, or to this day, even though he passed away 9 years ago now, but his daughter Amy still has that midnight ramble, Levon's midnight ramble, I think is what it's called, and so it's in that barn, which was his recording studio, which was the band's recording studio, and so we walk in there. And the barn doors are wide open, and there's a trough like full of beer. And as we're walking up, up the steps to go into the barn. He's standing there opening up a bottle of beer for each of us. And welcome to Woodstock, boys. Welcome to Woodstock. And it was just, it was the coolest thing. And then he said, if you guys ever want to do any recording or any kind of rehearsing or anything like that, he says, you need a place, just give me a call. Come here. Well, as luck would have it, 2 weeks later, Derrick Masrick, our bass player, had enough with the road. He's like, it's just been years of just nonstop. I need to stay in one place for a while. And so it was his cue to fade. And so he stepped away. And so we hired a friend of ours from Edmonton out here, a guy named William Meck Myers, and to play bass for us. And so he flew to Woodstock, and we're like, okay, where can we gotta do some rehearsing with Mac. Where can we rehearse? And what are we gonna do? And so I thought, well, Levon gave me his phone number. Let's call him. Maybe we can. Maybe that wasn't just an empty gesture. And so I called him up on the phone, and sure enough, he's like, yeah, I'll see you guys when you get here. And so we left the next day and drove from Nashville to Woodstock, New York, and we rented a couple, we stayed at a motel called the Old Mill Stream. And I don't know if that's where the song was written or not, but that's where we stayed, and we were there for a week. And every morning at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, we'd make our way to Levon's place, and we'd rehearse, and he would come sit with us and talk and laugh and smoke pot, and we had just a really nice time with them. And one day, 3 or 4 days into it, we were working on a song, and I went outside for a cigarette while the guys kept working on the song. And I was sitting there, and Levon came out, and he sat beside me, and we sat there and we talked, and I was smoking my Marlboros, and he was smoking his left-handed cigarettes, as they call them. And we're just having a nice day. And he says, I sure can hear that western wind in y'all's music. And it was at that moment that I realized, because every time I hear a Neil Young song or album, whether it's Harvest or whether it's with Crazy Horse, I can hear the prairies in his music. And so when Levon Helms said that to me, I thought, it doesn't even matter what happens. Whatever happens is fine, because we are products, and we are representing where we are from geographically. And I couldn't have been more proud of that. When he said I can hear that western wind, it's like, yeah, man, because this is where we cut our teeth, is on these bald ass prairies, And I just thought that was great. And I knew at some point I was going to work western wind into a song. This was in April of 2000. Then in November of 2012, I'd been carrying around western wind for a long time, that title. And I got together with the guys from Doc Walker, Dave and Chris, to work on a song. And we were talking about this and that, and I told them my Levon story. And I said, and he told me he said, I sure can hear that western wind in y'all's music. And they said, well, let's see if we can write something called Western Wind. I said, yeah, sounds good to me. And away we went. And I don't know where that line, I was born by the radio in the cradle of the Crocus Plains, in the shadow of a grain elevator and the rumble of a westbound train. I sang that. I wrote that as fast as you can sing it. That opening line was just there. And then we sort of talked, back and forth, Dave, Chris, and I, for the next couple of hours about just things, And I think it was Chris who said that his mom always told him that you could always hear the trains when the clouds were low, and that always meant that when the clouds were low, that means it was going to be either rain coming, or depending on the time of year, it's either going to be rain or snow. And I'd never heard that before. I'd never heard that you could hear the train, but it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. I've heard the trains on cloudy days, and it just never dawned on me why you could hear them better. But now I know. And so that was where that next line came from. Mama said you could hear them trains when the clouds was low. It's going to bring a much needed rain or a Thanksgiving snow. Just east of nowhere and west of someplace better. We were all going to get on out of there come first break in the weather. Everyone in town was cap and gown come the end of June. Some of us left, and I guess the rest kept doing what we's doing. And yeah, those guys are all from like Portage La Prairie, so they're just east of, or they're just where would they? They would be west of Winnipeg, west of someplace better. Yeah, just east of nowhere and west of someplace better. But so, and for me, that's Bonneville. That's what Bonneville always felt like to me. Just east of nowhere and west of someplace better. And yeah, so I am now 28 minutes into this, and I've played one song, so I apologize for that. Here we go. I'll see if I can pick up the pace here. I was born by the radio in the cradle of the Crocus Plains, in the shadow of a grain elevator and the rumble of a westbound train. Mama said you could hear them trains when the clouds was low. It's gonna bring much needed rain or Thanksgiving snow. Just east of nowhere and west of someplace better, we're all gonna get on out of there come first break in the weather. And it seems half the town was cap and gown, baby, come the end of June. Well, some of us left, and I guess the rest kept doing what was doing. And the western wind lets you know you're back home again. It doesn't matter where you've been, there's something in the western wind. Well, I've watched floodwaters damn near swallow my neighbor whole. Now we didn't just stand there, we threw sandbags in the cold. Now everyone in town came around to save the Lewis farm. Every man, woman, and child walking arm in arm. And the western wind lets you know you're back home again. It doesn't matter where you've been, there's something in the western wind. I said, oh. Next month will be 10 years since the old lion passed away, and the lessons that he taught me carry with me to this day. Now everyone in town came around to say till we meet again, as we lowered them down into the ground of a howling western wind. Yeah, the western wind lets you know you're back home again. And it doesn't matter where you've been, there's something in that western wind. Something in the western wind lets you know you're back home again. It doesn't matter where you've been, there's something in that western wind. Yeah, man. Who is the old lion? Okay, well, the old lion, in the book, The Last Picture Show, and in the movie for that matter, one of the main characters. Well, the main character is Sonny and Dwayne. The main characters are Sonny and Dwayne and JC. They're the kids who are just in grade 12, and it's their senior year. But Dwayne and Sonny hang out at this pool hall and at this diner, and both of which are owned by a character named Sam the Lion, and he's just this really, really cool old dude. And so in the movie, or in the book, both, one weekend, Sonny and Dwayne decide to go to Mexico and just go on a bender for the weekend. And so away they go. And when they come, they drive back into town on a Sunday morning. And it's such a great scene. Look it up on YouTube after the show. But they pull into town. It's all black and white. The wind blows through the entire movie. The entire movie, all you hear is that kind of thing. Anyway, so they pull into this dusty downtown, and the pool hall's closed, and the diner's closed, and there's some guy like at the gas pumps or something comes out, and he's like, they're like, what's going on, man? Why is the whole town closed, man? And the guy's like, Sam the Lion died, man, and they missed it. They weren't there for him. And this old guy was there for those guys. He bailed them out, pretty much adopted both of them, made sure they were fed and watered every day, gave them a job, let them go to the picture show. He also ran the theater as well. And but that was Sam the Lion. And so I knew when that last verse was coming around, I knew I wanted things to sort of wrap up in a more than melancholy way, I don't know. That's one of my favorite verses I've ever written, and to me, it really captures those dusty days, those dusty, windy days that really only happen in small towns on the prairies, and so. I knew I was looking for a character's name, and I wasn't going to call him Sam the Lion because Sam the Lion has obviously been used. But in my head, the character in the song is probably his dad. But I just think calling him the Old Lion is just such a cool thing, the Old Lion. But that's who the Old Lion is. That's where the inspiration came from. Was Sam the Lion from the Last Picture Show. All right, next song I wrote with Tim Hicks, and he and I wrote a couple songs over the years. None that he ended up recording, but I recorded "Summers Round Here" off of the Lonesome Stretch of Highway album, and then this next song, a song called "Mama's Rolling Stone." We got together, and he said, "I want to write a song that could have been on like." A Rolling Stones record from the 70s, and we did our best. We did our best, and we fell into this song instead. And I guess the title "Rolling Stone" made it into it. That's about all that made it into it as far as the Rolling Stones go. But it was it's a song about a girl chasing her dreams, and it's definitely Ruby Tallulah. And she would be the same, I didn't know it at the time, but she would be the same girl in the song "Free" from the 830 Newfoundland record. She was 21 with a rock and roll soul. Born and raised on Rebel Radio with Waylon and Willie, Bob Dylan, and the Rolling Stones. Same girl chasing her dreams. Daddy said that when she was a baby, that child would not sit still. As soon as she was tall enough, her little eyes peeking over the windowsill, when when she learned to ride a bike, she took off down the road. Her mom and dad just stood there and said, look at that girl go. Well, she was born with a gypsy soul, restless wheels need to roll. There's always something just a little further down the road. Yeah, she's daddy's little angel, and she's mama's rolling stone. When she turned 17, she got in an old six string. It didn't take a long time at all, oh no, before she made that a guitar sing. Singing free, falling over and over again. It was not a matter of if, but when now. 'Cause she was born with a gypsy soul, restless wheels need to roll. There's always something just a little further down the road. Yeah, she's daddy's little angel, mama's rolling stone. Yeah, she's running like the water, rushing by like some mountain stream. Just when you think you've caught her, she slips away like a dream. Oh yeah. She was born with a gypsy soul, restless wheels need to roll. There's always something just a little further down the road. And now her hometown's in her rearview mirror. Her mom and dad crying, all baby's leaving tears, but she finds comfort when she's out there on her own. Yeah, she's daddy's little angel, she's mama's rolling stone. She'll always be daddy's little angel, and she's mama's rolling stone. Mama's rolling stone. Man, I thanks, Murray. You know what? I like that song a lot too, man. That's yeah. Tim and I wrote the had the thumbnail sketch of this song pretty quick, like in 15-20 minutes. But I wasn't crazy about the lyrics. Still needed a lot of work, and so I spent that was 2014. We would have written that, recorded it. I spent the next 2.5-3 years. Every chance I got, negotiating my way through those lyrics until that something made sense. I went through countless different songs. She turned 17. She got an old six string. Didn't take her no time at all before she made that guitar singing. And I went through a couple different songs, and but Free Fallin' was it, because it makes perfect sense too, because there's so much about free falling. It's like, she's a good girl. Where is it? Let's play it in key, shall I? She's a good girl, loves her mama. I mean, it's the same kind of girl. It's the same girl in Mama's Rolling Stone as in Free, as in Free Fallin'. Same girl, same character, and and it would make sense that she would be singing Free Falling, because Free Falling is, for those of you who don't play the guitar, or for those of you who are thinking of maybe picking up the guitar in the next day or so, Free Falling is a 3-chord repeater. So once you learn the chords D, G, and A, you're off and running. You can sing Free Falling over and over again. It was not a matter of if, but when. And so that's where Free Falling just makes perfect sense in that song. Next song is a song called, where is it? It is called Waste a Kiss on Me. I wrote this with Trevor Rosen, a gentleman who I wrote Nothing I Don't Love About You with. I also wrote Goodbye Summer with, and I also wrote Huckleberry. I'm Your Huckleberry with Trevor as well. Trevor is in the band Old Dominion, and they've had a bit of success over the last 4 or 5 years, I would say. They've kicked up a lot of dust. Trevor and I wrote this song on the day he had his first #1 song, which was, he came to the house, he goes, man, I got my first #1 song. I went #1 today. I said, you're kidding me. What are you doing here? You should be at the bar drinking. And it was the song for the band Perry, and the song was called You Better Dig Too. I'm not. Now, does Sean's email? Do you just say that on purpose every Wednesday to play 8:30 Newfoundland? That's got to be what it is. Anyway, this is just I'm just every Wednesday is the it's the Revisited series. So I pick an album of mine and I play that album front to back. And regrettably, Sean, 8:30 Newfoundland is not on this record. But thanks for asking for it, though. I do appreciate it. This is Wasted Kiss on Me, written with Trevor. Whoop, you know what? I was thinking I was going to talk about my song Shreveport to L.A. because they're very similar in feel, and it's probably the same character. Speaking of revisiting characters, so my song Shreveport to L.A. has a very similar feel to Wasted Kiss on Me. So anyway, back to Wasted Kiss. Sorry about that. As I was thinking of Shreveport, and I hopped off on the Shreveport to L.A. train. Mama said that boy gonna leave you at the altar. Daddy said that son of a gun, they gonna run to light the water. Has that crazy girl learned anything that we taught her? Yeah, yeah. Put all your money down on the surefire bet. Search high and low and round, you still ain't found it yet. But I know me a Romeo who could use him a Juliet. Yeah, yeah. You won't chase the mystery. Yeah, yeah. You got a wasted kiss on me. And if I'm the train, you're the track. If you're the road, I'm Kerouac. I found the door, you got the key, but you got a wasted kiss on me. Wasted kiss on me. I get lost sometimes in the back roads of my mind. Got me these skeletons I don't want no one to find. You show me yours, honey, I'll show you mine. And if I'm the train, you're the track. You're the road, I'm Kerouac. I found the door, you got the key, but you got a wasted kiss on me. If I'm the whiskey, you're the glass. Am I the question you need to ask? It's an open road to our destiny, but you got a wasted kiss on me. Wasted kiss on me. Yeah, wasted kiss on me. Yeah, wasted kiss on me. Oh, well, we'll be the stars of the rumor mill, and if I say we are, then I say we will. And if you want to taste the mystery, then you got a wasted kiss on me. And if I'm the needle, you're the vein. If you want crazy, I'm insane. Let's go and see what we can see. You got a wasted kiss on me. And if I'm the train, you're the track. You're the road, I'm Kerouac. I found the door, you got the key, but you got a wasted kiss on me. If I'm the whiskey, you're the glass. Am I the question you need to ask? An open road to our destiny, but you got a wasted kiss on me. Yeah, wasted kiss on me. Oh yeah, wasted kiss on me. Yeah, wasted kiss on me. dance on me. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. Now that's a bridge. Yeah, man, that's it. Now we're talking. All right. Probably my favorite song on the album. Thanks, man. Thank you very much. That was a song with Trevor and I. That chorus took forever to nail down and to get the right back and forth to that. It was like I'm the train, you're the track. Or are you the train? Am I the track? It took a lot of separate and fly shit from pepper, as they say on that song. But thank you very much, Mikola. Okay, next song. Where are we? We are already. Oh, here we go. Yeah, forgot about this one. Almost time to replace the harmonicas. The reeds are starting to go. It's a song called Monroe's Mandolin, and when I started writing this in the summer of 2015, it started off pretty hardcore in bro country town, and I knew I could if I spent a little time on it, traveling down bro country road, that I probably could have made that really into something that Florida Georgia Line would have wanted to cut, and I wouldn't have minded that paycheck, I must say, but everything I wrote just felt forced, and so the verses were written really quick, and I loved these verses, man. I was just so pumped on these verses. And the chorus, while the melody was the same, the lyrics just stunk. And so I figured I'm gonna keep working on this until I find something. I think I had the turn it up right out of the gate, but nothing else was there. And then I think I just sort of, over the space of a week or so, I would write a line a day as I was taking the dogs for a walk. So turn it up. There ain't nothing kicking like a kick drum kicking in. I said, okay, that's all right. I got to remember that. And then the next day I would have probably stumbled onto, actually, I think I wrote Ain't Nothing Kicking Like a Kick Drum Kicking In, or The Rumbling Thunder Coming Through a 410. I think I wrote those like back to back, just on top of each other. And then, but over the space of a week or so, I nailed down what I wanted the lyric to be. And I was on a bit of a Bill Monroe kick at that time, and just listen to that guy and how he was just a shredder in 1938 on the old mandolin. And yeah, man, he was picking more notes than the number of ants on a Tennessee anthill, as they say. But yeah, so this is Monroe's Mandolin. I'm a rocker, she's a roller. We gonna drive it all night like we stole her. Ain't gonna back down, buddy, when we come to town. Yeah, some people throw up, some people throw down. We're talking big deals, we're talking big wheels. We're talking scraping bug guts off the windshield. Cause I'm a rocker, she's a roller. We gonna drive it all night like we stole her. Turn it up. There ain't nothing kicking like a kick drum kicking in, or a rumbling thunder coming through a 410. You turn it up. There ain't nothing better than a telly running through a twin, except for maybe a mandolin. Monroe's Mandolin. I'm country, she's a west Western. You give me bluegrass, Bill, or a Lester. I'm hard as a pistol. Bubba, grab a fistful. We've been driving all night in from Bristol. We're talking early cash, we're talking mid-class. I'm talking Dylan before the motorcycle crash. Cause I'm a country, yeah, she be Western. You give me bluegrass, Bill, or a Lester. Yes, sir. Turn it up. There ain't nothing kicking like a kick drum kicking in, or a rumbling thunder coming through a 410. You turn it up. There ain't nothing better than a telly running through a twin, except for maybe a mandolin, Monroe's mandolin. Turn it up. There ain't nothing kicking like a kick drum kicking in, or a rumbling thunder coming through a 410. Yeah. Turn it up. There ain't nothing better than a telly running through a twin, except for maybe a mandolin. Except for maybe a mandolin, baby. Except for maybe a mandolin, Monroe's mandolin. I'm a rocker, she's a roller. We're gonna drive it all night like we stole her. Yeah, ma'am. Thanks, Jacqueline. Appreciate it. Thank you, Sue. Appreciate that as well. Oh, so close. Hang on to your ticket stubs, kids. I'll be raffling off this harmonica tonight, I think. There's my buddy at Waiter Entertainment. Nice to see him as well. Yeah. Okay, what do we have next here? Next song is Long, Long Line of Fools, and I do believe that's one of Julian's favorite songs, if memory serves me correctly. Everything sounding okay out there? Any hissing? Are we still okay before I move forward with all this craziness? What song was that, Yari? The Monroe's Mandolin? Well, regardless, whatever song it was that you had to keep playing over and over, I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. I was like that the first time I heard it, Bop. I just couldn't stop listening to it over and over and over. Anyway. It's okay. You can admit that you like that song too. Anyway, next song is called Long, Long Line of Fools. Wrote this and the next song, wrote Long, Long Line of Fools and Doing What Comes Naturally with Brent Mayer. And Brent has got a bit of a track record. But he and I wrote this song and Doing What Comes Naturally back to back. One day we wrote Doing What Comes Naturally. The next day we got together and we wrote Long, Long Line of Fools. Brent, long before he and I crossed paths, he was my publisher. Should tell you that. He also produced my 830 Newfoundland record. Just a fantastic producer. Just a great guy to work with. Just a gem of a character. But Brent, he moved to Nashville in the 60s and he worked his way up and through and he produced Proud Mary for Ike and Tina Turner. Can you believe that? Yeah. He also produced Elvis's last #1 song, which was called Way Down. Way Down. He produced that. And then he also wrote and produced all the Judd's material through the 80s. So the guy, man, had the Midas touch till he crossed paths with me, and then I put a stop to that quick now and in a hurry. But Brent is just the coolest guy. He and I were talking on the phone just the other day, on Saturday actually, and he's like, "Man, let's get together this summer and write and record an album in a month. Just show up with no material. We're going to write a song a day and then record it the next day." I said, "Gee, that sounds like a lot of fun." So if there's some way I can make that happen, I'm going to make that happen. I may need to rob a bank, but it would be fun. I can tell you that. Anyway, this is Long, Long Line of Fools. Seems like we come from a long, long line of fools to believe that love would be anything but cruel. I said this'll be the last time, at least 100 times or more. But these old blues ain't nothing I ain't had before. Long, long line, it's a long, long line. It seems like we come from a long, long line of fools. Seems like we come from a long, long line of fools to believe that love would be anything but cruel. Yeah, love seems to love to kick you when you're down, down, with your broken heart in pieces on the ground. Alright, a long, long line. Well, it's a long, long line. It seems like we come from a long, long line of fools. Alright, long, long line. Well, it's a long, long line. It seems like we come from a long, long line of fools. And misery loves company, that's how it's always been. Slide on over next to me, let's say we jump back in. It seems like we come from a long, long line of fools to believe that love would be anything but cruel. Yeah, we said this'll be last time, at least 100 times but more. But these old blues ain't nothing I ain't had before. That's right, long, long line. Well, it's a long, long line. It seems like we come from a long, long line of fools. It seems like we come from a long, long line of fools. A long line of fools. Long line of fools. Long line of fools. Long line of fools. Oh yeah. Long, long line of fools. Wrote that with Brent Mayer, yes indeed. Well, thanks. Is that Rose or Gerloff? I don't know. Hope it's both of them. Thanks, man. Thank you very much. Let me see, Murray, my buddy Al, is curious why you only play the Jumbo Guild on these shows. That's a good question. You know, you just sort of go through phases. You know, I haven't played this guitar in years. it was in various. For a while I had it strung Nashville tuning, which is all like high strung, like octaves above this, so it's really just like a texture. Basically, all the higher strings on a 12-string guitar. It is the best sound without a pickup. Not necessarily, man. It's just the jumbo has a bigger body, so it does throw a little more volume, a little more bottom end. But I bought the guitar in 1992, Murray, and it was my main guitar for a couple of years. And then I switched back over. I had a pickup in it that was very finicky. Then I switched over back over to my Takamine, which I bought in May of 1991. And that guitar is in the living room right now, and it has been put out to pasture, put out to stud, and so we'll see. But nothing would surprise me if that guitar made an appearance again on stage. And then I bought my Gibson Dove. It was a 1993 Dove. I bought that back in May of 1999. It has been in the shop for 2 years. Right now, 2 years ago, right now, I was over in the Netherlands doing a tour, and that's where I broke that guitar. And so when I got home, I dropped it off at Doc's place, and he's been, working away at it for the last 2 years. Now, it was going to be a pretty massive expense had he, worked on it for, 2 or 3 weeks or a month straight to get it done. So I said, look, just take your time, but let's try to keep it to a dull roar. And he said, okay. Whenever I have a free minute or two here and there, I'll work on it. So that's kind of what he's been doing. Word on the street is, though, that it is almost done. So when that happens, Murray, the Dove will be back in action. It will take its rightful spot in the starting lineup. And then this guy will go back to probably shortstop. And then this Gibson down here, that's a new one. I've had that for about 2 years now. And it's a beaut. It's a Gibson American Eagle. And I quite like it, and it's breaking in quite lovely. So, and as the years go by, kind of like a pair of jeans, that you're buying it when you first get them. They're kind of like not quite where you got to wash them a bit and wear them, and for a year or so before they start to get comfortable. Same thing with guitars. But this guitar, this is a beaut. I've had it for almost 29 years. It is old number 2. I have old number 2. Engraved right back here. I don't know if you can see it. You can't probably see it. Anyway, trust me when I say it's engraved in the guitar there. I don't want to get too close to the microphones and bang them and then have them start buzzing again. But anyway, let's see what I can do here. Next song is Voice Like a Song. Started writing this song at Camp Manitou when I was running the music program there back in the summer of 2012. And I was going through, it took me a lot. I wrote the verses really quick. Took me a long time to settle on a chorus. Couldn't quite settle on a chorus. Just couldn't figure out what the lyrics were going to be. Took me a long time to settle on the Voice Like a Song bit. I was listening to little phone recordings I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And I was listening back to some songs yesterday. And there was a song on there called Thirsty Fields. And I said, that's an interesting title. So I pressed play, and it was Voice Like a Song with a completely different lyric for the chorus, but the verses were still the same. So that was interesting. I had totally forgotten that about the Thirsty Field thing. And it was a cool lyric, but it just didn't work with the melody. So I may drag that lyric to the daylight again and see how it works. But here it goes. You're like gold, you're like diamonds, you're a picture of perfect timing, baby. Them stars must have been lining up the day that I met you. You're like a bird on a wing, you've been teaching me to sing of the gifts that love can bring when you let it come to you. When you let it come dishes, making wishes. Does that make me superstitious, babe? Your kisses are so delicious. I thank the good Lord every day. Well, you're like the sunny side of the street. You make my heart skip a beat to your sweet melody and your tender harmony. Yeah, now you're the only one who can make my heart beat like a drum, to your voice like a song. Yeah, well, there's nothing that I'd rather do than walk hand in hand with you all along the avenue. There ain't nothing quite so fine. Them stars in that evening sky, they pale to my baby's eyes. Didn't take me long to realize like a diamond you do shine. And your sweet melody, yeah, and a tender harmony. Yeah, now you're the only one who can make my heart beat like a drum, to your voice like a song. Voice like a song. You're like the sunny side of the street. You make my heart skip a beat to your sweet melody and a tender harmony. Yeah, now you're the only one who can make my heart beat like a drum, to your voice like a song. Your voice like a song, baby. Gold, you're like diamonds. You're a picture of perfect timing, babe. Indeed. How many guitars do I have? Well, right here, right now in this room, I am looking at, counting my banjo, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 in here. One in the my Takamine is in the living room. Jenny's guitar is also in the living room. That's quite often in here as well. And Ruby's guitar is in her room. So that's 14, I guess. And then we have another one upstairs in a spare room upstairs. A little classical, little Yamaha classical guitar. And I have a bass as well. So I don't know, 16, 15, 16, 17, something like that. And a ukulele. And in fact, I forgot I had worked up Voice Like a Song to be played on the ukulele, and forgot to, and left it on back there on the couch. And I just figured it would be poor form if I got up and walked over there and got that. So I didn't. And I also have a mandolin. So I got a couple musical instruments. And Ruby has a cello. And so we got lots of stuff going on here. Here's the next song that I wrote with Brent Mayer back in April of 2011, I think is what it is. That's okay, man. I totally get it, Mikola. Don't worry. I appreciate you digging the show. You can always watch it later. See, the Oilers knew that I was doing this show tonight, so I said, "Listen, guys, can you quit screwing around and maybe get up 5 or 6, 7-0 before the end of the second period, so I kind of know the game's over." So, and they did that for me. So that was very nice. I really appreciate that. Just above and beyond the Call of Duty. Yeah. Anyway, here is one of my favorite songs. Something about when we touch, a little too much ain't never enough. Here beneath the stars and the magnolia tree, a slice of heaven just for you and me. There's a place we'd like to go, tucked away where nobody knows. Fireflies and moonbeams in a warm summer breeze. There's nowhere else on earth I'd rather be than laying on the hood of my car, wishing on a shooting star, singing with the radio, playing soft and low. Baby, just to you and me, easy as can be. We're doing what comes naturally. Baby, when I taste your kiss and the soft caress of your fingertips, I finally found a feeling that I never felt before. Well, I thought I knew, but now I know for sure. Laying on the hood of my car, wishing on a shooting star, singing with the radio, playing soft and low. Baby, just to you and me, easy as can be. We're doing what comes naturally. Something about the moonlight as it dances in your eyes, a dream I must have dreamed 1,000 times. Laying on the hood of my car, wishing on a shooting star, singing with the radio, playing soft and low. Baby, just to you and me, easy as can be. We're doing what comes naturally. Baby, just to you and me, easy as can be. We're doing what comes naturally. Doing what comes naturally. Wrote that, like I was saying, with Brent Maher. Brent is just, man, the guy, he wrote with Harlan Howard, man. What else do you need, man? I mean, when you've got that on your resume, everything else is down the list, man. Wrote with Harlan Howard. That's insane. Anyway, so that is yeah, that's a I like that song a lot, I should say. Next song is the last song. Last song on the record, last song of the show. And I wrote this with Joni Delorier from Calgary, actually from Manitoba, but lives in Calgary now. And just a fantastic songwriter, very she's a craftsman. She understands songs as good or better than anyone I've ever written with. She's just a great writer, and she and I were hired to be songwriting mentors a couple of years ago, and we had met before, but that was where our friendship really kind of took hold, and we were determined to try to write some songs together, and we have, and we need to write some more. So I don't know if Joni is watching this tonight, but if she is, we need to book a writing appointment. But we wrote this song. We got together here at my place, right in this room, and we were just sort of sitting around drinking coffee, talking about songs, and we were marveling at the song "Humble and Kind" by Tim McGraw, and or that Tim McGraw recorded, I should say. He didn't write it, but and for the life of me right now, the writer's name is escaping me, and if I had my Google nearby, I would Google it, and so I apologize for that. Anyway, but it's a beautiful song, Humble and Kind, and it's just the message is great, the melody's great, everything about the song is great. He has a knack for finding songs like that, and we were talking about that song and saying, well, we should really try to write a song like that. I mean, it's a tall order, and we probably missed the net, but we came up with a song. I think we came up with a great song. Is it Humble and Kind? I don't know. Well, it might be humble, it might be kind, but is it the song Humble and Kind? Probably not. But the message is great. I never in a million years would have written that chorus. That melody, that's all Joni. I did not have anything to do with that. Lyrically, we went back and forth on the lyrics, but that was her. I had the verses, or the melody for the verses. We wrote it right. I'd come up with the chord progression maybe a couple days before she came to town, and so I had that. And so I played that for him. We stumbled into the first verse. You got to travel light to travel far. It's not where you've been, it's who you are. Don't let the days turn into years. If you do what you love, then you've nothing to fear. I mean, we've heard all that stuff before. I understand that. But it's not a bad idea to be reminded of it now and again. Because we, as often as we've heard it, we can sometimes choose to not hear it. And that's not always a good thing either. Sometimes we take everything too seriously. And, life is short, right? Life is funny, but we don't always laugh, right? But that melody for the chorus was all hers. That take a hard road if it's something you believe in. Yeah, so that's it. You're absolutely right. Lori McKenna. Thanks, Paulie. Appreciate that. Yeah, so here's Better Than You Found It, man. This is a song, this is, we wrote this in July 2017, recorded it in October. And that's pretty quick. That's pretty quick for me for writing a song and then turning around and recording it. But it came out great. Very happy with it. Very happy with it. Travel light, travel far. It's not where you've been, it's who you are. Now don't let the days turn into years. If you do what you love, then you've nothing to fear. Take the hard road if it's something you believe in. If you make a promise, then make sure you keep it. Trust your heart to keep you grounded, and leave it all better than you found it. Yeah, you gotta do your best, and when you've something to say, get it off your chest, because the higher you climb, the further you see. A heavy price for wasting time, but smiles are free. Take the hard road if it's something you believe in. If you make a promise, then make sure you keep it. Trust your heart to keep you grounded, better than you found it. Don't be scared to take a chance. Don't be scared to make a stand. Don't be scared to wear your heart upon your sleeve. don't hold grudges, forgive and forget. There are no strangers, but friends you just haven't met. And the years go by before you know it. So if there's someone you love, don't be afraid to show it. Take the high road if it's something you believe in. If you make a promise, then make sure you keep it. Trust your heart to keep you grounded, grounded. Yeah, 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 yeah. Take the high road if it's something you believe in. When you make a promise, then make sure you keep it. Trust your heart to keep you grounded, and leave it all better than you found it. Yeah, you gotta travel light, travel far. It's not where you've been, it's who you are. Yeah, man. Take the hard road if it's something you believe in. And when you make a promise, make sure you keep it. Trust your heart to keep you grounded, and leave it all better than you found it. Thank you very much, Joni, for writing that song with me. And thank you for tuning in tonight. I do appreciate it very, very much. I enjoyed the hell out of this show. I love this record a lot. Yeah, the 10th album, and I finally feel like I'm hitting my stride, you know. But this was a fun record to write and to record, and the painting, the album cover was done by Steve Coffey. So do yourself a favor and Google him, Coffey. So coffee, not like the drink. Check him out. His paintings are just stellar, and yeah. So thank you very much for tuning in. We will see you all tomorrow morning over there on Instagram if you're kicking around. And we'll see you Sunday morning for episode 26, 27 of Easy Like Sunday Morning, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then we'll be back here next Wednesday for episode 11 of the Revisited series, Lonesome Stretch of Highway. We're going to be visiting that record and going over that one. That'll be a fun one too. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, made my day. So take care. Have yourselves a great day, and take care of yourselves and of each other. And I'll see you around. All right? See ya.